Peace, peace, peace. Mind Ascension here with one of my young brothers. This brother is very intelligent. I had to make this video right now because I'm always talking to slightly older brothers, and you know, this brother's 17. He just asked me an excellent question, which deals with the fact of our illusion and our delusion of equality between genders. So ask me that question again, and let's get the ball rolling with the explanation and breakdown. We
did this like
I know. We did this already. But my phone kept going off. Now we're using the brother's phone. But either way, let's get to the science and get to the explanations and the answers, questions.
So my question is, why should I feel obligated in the beginning of a relationship or at all? Why should I feel obligated to have to pay for any type of anything? Why should I feel obligated specifically to pay for a dinner or a cab or say anything that has to do with the date? Why should I feel obligated to pay for that?
Now, what you're saying is why? Because you are of male genitalia and gender.
Why, as the man, should I feel obligated?
Are you obligated by society to basically pay for the dates, provide, transportation or the meal or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying this why? Because you believe that it's supposed to be equal, right?
Not that it's equal, but that why? Like, why in general is just like...
Where does it come from? To an extent, the origin.
Chivalry.
Okay, well, chivalry, you can say chivalry. Chivalry is a little different, though.
The point of this comes from the woman's point of view, so why should I...
Now,
saying this...
Let me stop you there, because what you're speaking of from a point and an aspect of the differences between two genders and the male's obligation to provide for the woman before it's her obligation to do anything for him doesn't come from a woman. It doesn't come from a woman's mind. It comes from nature in itself. Because if we go past humans and we look into the animal kingdom, we still got, to an extent, the same aspect. To an extent, okay? Now, let's go back to what we was breaking down earlier. The functions, now, this is the most important, this is the biggest problem of modern society today. None of us have any fucking clue what the feminine and the masculine nature is, functions, and does. None of us have any goddamn clue what a woman is and what a man is. And we're going by society's definitions that changes every 5 to 10 years of what a man is supposed to do and what a woman's supposed to do. But here's the funny part. If we all pay attention, no matter what feminists say, no matter what modern men say, for some strange reason, when we are in a heterosexual relationship between man and woman, men still have the same obligation. It don't change. If I go out with a feminist who feels she don't need nothing from me, but yet I don't pay for dinner, in the back of her mind, whether she admits it or not, she's not looking at me as the ideal man, because I'm supposed to step up and not even ask her or not even assume, but just automatically provide and pay for something and make sure that she has what she needs. Now, to get to the source aspect, the masculine energy, its function is one directional.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? As a man, you're left brain.
Yeah.
So you're logical. So when you think about something, you're not indecisive about it. You know what you want, you have your decision made, and you're going straight ahead into that direction.
Yes.
That's why a lot of women, if you notice, for I don't even know how long they've been saying this, but they've been saying this for forever. What do they say? Oh my God, you got a one-track mind. Men have a one-track mind. And that's the truth though, you see? Because our nature is to be focused. Our nature is to be focused, whether we focus on stupid crap or whether we focus on intelligent crap. It's irrelevant what we're focused on because focus is focus, okay? The same aspect as the man's nature to bring change. Whether he brings change by making you a pothead alcoholic or he brings change by making you a vegan spiritualist. Change is change. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is this obligation that we think comes from either a woman or comes from some feminist mindset is false because it comes from the very nature and the function of the masculine energy. The masculine energy protects by function in nature. The masculine energy provides by function in nature. Now let's also get to another thing that I want to touch on. Providing is not just about money. Sometimes your parent, yes, there you go. Excellent. Let's take it to protection. Your parent can protect you by thinking 10 steps ahead of you and telling you, don't go to that side of town. babe, listen, don't go to that side of town, blah, 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 blah. And you're a dumbass because you're a rebellious child and a kid. You go to that side of town and join a gang and get arrested and blah, 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 blah. But they had the foresight to see something that they warned you about in order to protect you from it. So protection is not always about brawn and about fighting and beating up people. Protection also comes with a form of intelligence, wisdom, and knowledge. Okay? Yes. Now we can go into the aspect of man being knowledge, woman being wisdom. What do I mean by that? Knowledge is laborious. When you obtain knowledge, you go through a form of labor to accumulate information by putting your time, your mental capacity into obtaining some form of information that you call knowledge. Wisdom is just being. Because wisdom is the feminine. I'm not saying a man can't have wisdom. I'm separating them in the feminine and masculine attributes that they are. Wisdom is just being. What do I mean by that? Right now, you are experiencing something by having a conversation with me. You can take this one experience that you didn't have to work for, but all you're just doing is sitting here and using your ears. But you can go to someone else and relay the same information, and it'll be wise of you. You understand what I'm saying? But when you go to school, you're trying to obtain knowledge. So what are you doing? You're studying a million books. You're studying a million books. You're writing a million essays. That's laborious.
I don't want to do all that.
You see what I'm saying? But I'm making a difference. Now, if you notice, the feminine is associated with wisdom. Why? Because wisdom is effortless. It doesn't take hard work. It doesn't take labor. It takes an absorption. It takes just being. That's why a man is what he does. A woman is what she is. You understand when I say that? This goes back to your question. If a man is what he does, what are you obligated to do?
Pay for stuff.
Pay for every fucking thing, right? If a woman is what she is, what's she doing?
No.
Receiving.
Yeah. Okay.
She's a receiver by her nature. So back to the template of what
I feel like those roles are those are interchangeable when you come
to
it.
They're interchangeable, but once again, we're still talking about compliments because remember, wisdom is the complement to knowledge. All right. Just like water is the complement to fire. But here's the difference. You can have a woman that is knowledgeable and provides for the man. And you can have a man that's wisdom and receives from the woman. But here's the thing.
Is that the ideal?
And is he in the majority?
Which is why, if that's the case and you're working towards getting that knowledge, if you're not good at that, then the relationship is not going to work out as you see it fit. Mm-hmm. Because if you're trying to do something that you're not, then you're gonna.
That's not of your nature.
Yeah.
That's not of your nature.
So if you're filled with wisdom and you're trying to get knowledge that you have no idea how to get, as opposed to fire truck, as opposed to already having the knowledge, like as a woman, if you were to work for the knowledge and do what a man was supposed to do, and a man was supposed to do what a woman was supposed to do, this is quote unquote, wouldn't you just like the relationship wouldn't work?
No. And not only that, remember, woman is right brain dominant. Her right brain is what? We just went over that a second ago. What's the functions of the right brain? Creativity and emotions, right? So if I place her in left brain dominant activity or left brain dominant environment, what begins to happen? She has to sacrifice her femininity and she has to become more masculine. Now, when she becomes more masculine, what kind of energy is she projecting and what will she attract? Will she attract a masculine man or a feminine man?
A feminine man.
She'll attract a feminine man. Why though? Because we're in the law right now of polarity and gender, which is complements. The 7 laws, I don't know if you have you ever heard of 7 universal laws?
No.
Okay. Now he's not my student per se, but he's an intelligent young black brother, so I had to put him on video. So because my students know the 7 laws. But now the 7 laws, 2 of those 7 laws is polarity and gender. These are universal laws. This is nothing modern. This is ancient. Have you ever heard of Hermes Trismegistus?
Oh my gosh, no, you're just like...
Or Hermes?
Yeah.
Okay, Hermes. The whole name is Hermes Trismegistus. Now, that's the Greek. Where that comes from is the 7 laws of Jehudi, or the 7 universal laws of Thoth. Have you ever heard of Thoth?
No.
That's also a Greek name, but his original name is Jehudi, okay? Now, his complement, or his principle, or his wife, is Ma'at. And she has the 7 principles, he has the 7 laws. This is complement again. And this what I'm talking about right now is at least 4,000 to 6,000 years old. And it's written in scrolls, papyruses, pyramid texts, tombs, so on and so forth. This is our ancient knowledge and wisdom of the laws of the universe. Now, they're laws of the universe because remember, everything on every plane in every existence, from nature to molecules to minerals, has a what? Gender.
So what is to say that that's not where that was born instead of, like this is forever, this has been it.
Say
It's
that.
not to say that once that writing was into place that everybody was like, oh.
Oh, no. The writing didn't solidify it. The writing was just to explain it to people. But without the writing or without the scrolls, that doesn't mean that it wouldn't exist, because it was there before that existence. You see, gender existed before humans. Because remember, you have plants that have gender.
Yeah.
You have a mother plant, you have a female and you have a male plant. You have minerals that have gender. You have neutrons and protons. That's a gender of itself. They're polarities of each other. And this is how they create rotations. This is how they create sparks. Because they're complements, not
We're
the
just
same.
the larger version of.
We're the organisms.
So said,
We're the larger organisms version of it, but
so
you can't
said
escape it.
Polarity.
And now polarity is going back to complement. Gender is the physical.
Yeah.
Gender is what denotes your function. Okay? Because you have a male anatomy and male genitalia, whether you realize it or not, you have a set-in function to yourself. Now, whether you do stuff that's not to your anatomy, that's another topic.
Yeah,
but you have a set function to yourself as a man that comes with nature, not modern, not today, not some man wrote it down.
Yeah.
That's gender. Polarity is the energy. Polarity doesn't have nothing to do with the physical, it's the energy. Just like fire is masculine and water is feminine. But they're not people, they're elements. And elements have genders as well. So basically, what I'm saying to you is, the reason why this obligation exists is not because a man created or a woman created, is because since you were born within the anatomy of the male gender, combined with, I'm assuming, and you're a smart brother, and I know you're a man, you're a young man, combined with the brain capacity that's dominated by the left brain. And see, this is why automatically you got logical. You said, wait a second, logically? Why the hell am I obligated to da-da-da-da-da? Because you're thinking logically.
Because if we both have the same abilities, why should I have to do so said obligation?
Now, back to your obligation comes from your set function given by your anatomy and your brain.
I'm supposed to give and not...
You understand what I'm trying to say? Because...
I'm starting to connect the dots.
Your left brain being dominant to your right makes you more analytical.
And if you take it deeper than that, like I just want to say, if you take it deeper than that, when anything is born or anything is conceived, the man isn't taking as much as it is giving. So your function is to give sperm, not to take it.
You are an initiator. You are a projector.
Right.
You are intensity. You are forthcoming. What is this all leading to? One direction. When you ejaculate, do you ejaculate backwards? Do you ejaculate in curves and spins? No, you ejaculate one direction. You see, when you're a man and you're focused and your testosterone is pumping and you're out on the field or you're doing whatever you do as a man, you're in one direction. Either the direction is to win, to destroy, to dominate, but it's all one direction. Women don't work like that. Because if you notice, you can talk to your girlfriend one day and agree on the topic, and then Thursday comes and she done, for some reason, y'all don't agree no more.
All the time.
All the time, right? Because woman is chaos. Woman is multi-directional. Now, I should have broke down chaos and order to you before I said that. But woman is chaos, man is order. Okay? Life and creation comes from chaos. Order is the after effect that puts alignment into the creations and the chaos. You understand? This is why woman comes first. Now, they want to teach you about equality, but let's keep it fucking real. They don't open the door for you. You open the door for them. They're not supposed to jump in front of a bullet for you, but you're supposed to jump in front of a bullet for them, right? Now, I'm using dramatic aspects, but the fact of the matter is, as a man, your nature is supposed to be to put a woman first.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there's times you was either out with your mother or if you can remember times when you was a little kid and maybe your mother or your father or anybody told you, oh boy, what's wrong with you? Come on, ladies first. Isn't that what we've heard?
Yes.
Ladies first, right? Because the feminine energy comes before the masculine. As a matter of fact, I know you know this because you just mentioned it earlier. What does every zygote begin as?
XY. Oh, well, X.
Double X. What's the double X?
It's female.
It's female.
And then you become...
And then you degenerate into a Y. Because what is the Y? Look at the X and look at the Y.
The Y is a penis.
Well,
It's like,
okay.
you think of it...
But wait, no. Look at the X. The X goes like this. Look. The X goes like this, right? And the Y goes like this, right?
Yeah.
So what is the Y compared to the X?
I don't know.
Because if you look at an X, the X has 4 points, right?
Yeah.
How many points does Y have?
3.
3. So what is the Y to the X?
I'm confused.
It's less. It's
Oh,
missing.
man.
It's missing a point.
Oh,
It's
man.
incomplete. All right? Because if the zygote begins, all humans on the planet all begin as a double X chromosome. But then you become Y because you degenerate into Y. And this is why, if you notice, you have nipples, but it will never have breasts. You have a prostate, but for some reason it never becomes a uterus.
Yeah.
Okay? You have testicles that are on the outside of your body, which are nothing but ovaries.
Ovaries.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know that.
You know this, but see, you're not connecting it to the functions of each gender, which leads to the socialized aspect of obligations of providing, protecting, being analytical, being logical. Because while she's sitting there for an hour trying to figure out what to wear, you go, babe, first of all, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
Second of all, we're going to a Halloween party. Third of all, it's a kid's Halloween party.
So
You don't need to wear your heels. You don't need to you don't need to. It's little kids. Nobody's going to care about it. That's all analytical. She's sitting there worried about how she feels in that moment and what type of energy she wants to project wherever she's going. She's not analyzing all of that stuff. You're analyzing the physical environment. You're analyzing the reasoning for where you're going. But check it out. Y'all are complimenting each other. Because while she's sitting there going, which one of these outfits do you like?
Doesn't really
In your
matter.
head, you know it doesn't matter, but in your head, you know you can't really say that. But in your head, you're like, all right, it's cold outside. Well babe, I love that one on you, you know. But what are you really doing? You're thinking ahead because you know if you let her go outside in a skirt in 20-degree weather, you're going to hear her mouth all night.
Exactly.
She's going to be pissed off. She's going to be cold. You're going to need to keep her warm.
Why did you let me go outside?
You know what I'm saying? And of course it's going to be your fault. Why did you let me go outside like this? Oh my God, why you didn't tell me it was going to be this cold? Oh my God, so are we going to be here all night? Okay, I'm ready to go home. And then what are we coming back again? You have to put her first. Because you can't say, well, listen, ain't nobody told you to da-da-da, blah, blah. I'm not ready to go, blah, blah, blah. Because if you do this, it's going to be looked at through her eyes as you not being a man, you being rude, you're not a gentleman, da-da-da-da-da. Now, logically...
Now, what if you've already... Okay, now...
Go on.
Because my relationship is way different than if you're saying this, my relationship is totally different.
Well, we're talking about the dynamic of
Yeah.
the right and the left, so I'm just using examples.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, just like you agreed with earlier with her indecisiveness, which is the feminine trait.
Yeah.
The fact that she's indecisive to a certain extent. If you ever notice, women, whether they admit it or not, they need guidance. They need the analytical, logical side to help them make decisions quickly. So this is why, even when she pretends like she's not looking for guidance, she asks questions of people or asks advice or asks opinions of people to retrieve guidance without asking for it.
We're just trying to receive information instead of knowing already.
And she doesn't have to do the work because she's receiving the answer
She's
without
absorbing
laboring.
it. Yeah.
You see? You're making the connections, right? All right. Now, back to the obligation of you as a man in order to have to provide, which is the only reason, and I understand where you're coming from because, let's be honest, you're 17 years old, brother. You was born in an age and a time where you are being drilled into your freaking head that we're exactly fucking equal. I came from a time where people taught me, like, listen, my mother, oh my God, my mother, I'll never forget, my mother told me, she said, she was so happy that I was a boy because she looked me in the face, she said, I'm going to be the only bitch in this house. Because she knew that if I was a boy and the house was filled with men, she would come first. And men would just understand that. Because most men who are truly masculine men and not warped by today's age, we don't mind that our mother has every closet in the house. We don't mind that. We don't care. We don't mind that our mother needs to decorate the house a certain way that she likes. As long as she don't destroy our PlayStation or whatever the hell, let us do what we want with the toys or the things that we like. We don't give a fuck what the house looks like. No. You know what what I'm saying?
Like
Because,
my room is the one place is like, just
yeah,
just
you know. But if you want to put flowers all over, we don't really give a damn. Where's the food at? You know, we don't really give a damn. I gotta go finish this tournament, this game. You know what I'm saying? But that's the logical aspect. Remember, she's right brain. What's right brain? Creativity. Yeah. Emotions. She needs to feel something when she comes into her home. That's why the home has to be decorated from her mind. But see, if we were asked to decorate something, if we're dominantly left brain, because there's some men that's dominantly right brain. But if we're dominantly left brain, what do? I need a bed.
I need a fridge.
I need a TV. I need a refrigerator.
And I need water. That's
and I need water. All right, decoration done. You see what I'm saying? But she can feel the difference between the tones, between colors of a room. She can look at a room and know what to place in the center of it to bring balance to the room. You look at a room and only look at what you need as a human being to conduct yourself in that room. And you need a bed and a TV or something to sit on in a TV, and that's it. And everything else you don't really care about. So
one thing my girlfriend's always obsessed with. Oh, I can't sleep outside. Like not like say we're away from the house. She's like, oh, I can't sleep away from the house. You know, it bothers me. I'm like, if I have to sleep, I have to sleep. Mm-hmm. There's none of that. Oh, if I have to use the bathroom, if I have to use the bathroom, I have to use the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. You bring up a good point. You ever notice a real feminine woman? I have to say that, unfortunately, because today gender is so warped and destroyed. I have to keep emphasizing real masculine, real feminine. But if you notice, a real feminine woman will not go to the bathroom anywhere. She just won't. There's certain places, I don't care how bad she has to go, there's certain places she just will not go to the bathroom. But if you notice, a man will pull his dick out and piss anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Have that freedom.
We just don't care. Not only just about having freedom, because a woman can just squat and take a piss. Yeah. All she got to do is squat. It's not a big deal. But it's the fact that how she feels changes her actions.
Yeah,
because if
logic.
she doesn't,
if you have to use the bathroom, you're not even.
But that's logic.
You're not gonna bust your.
But you're talking about logic, brother. We're not dealing with logic when we talk about the feminine. We're talking about how she feels, and she doesn't feel comfortable using the bathroom in this place. She doesn't feel comfortable going into this alley. She doesn't feel comfortable. Like your woman says, she don't feel comfortable sleeping far away from the house because the house brings her comfort. And what are we still talking about? Still the right brain. Yeah. Because comfort is what?
So we haven't even busted through the left brain yet. We just...
Well, the left brain is easy. The left brain is analytical, logical, mechanical, straightforward, and one-directional. So the left brain looks at something, uses pure observation, and comes to a conclusion based on a mathematical process. So I look at the chair and I go, oh, that chair is made for sitting. Oh, that chair is made of leather. It'll be softer than that wooden chair over there. I'm done. Woman goes, why is that chair ripped on that side? Who's been sitting in this chair? How old is this chair? How long has this chair been here? She'll get into a whole bunch of stuff.
Hypotheticals.
Yeah, that is more based on how she feels than the logical function of the chair. You see? Now, let's wrap it up and get to the main part, or unless you got some stuff that you want to, expand on, want me to expand on. But let's get to the main part. Your obligation that before this conversation you felt, because it correct me if I'm wrong, but you felt the obligation for the man to do everything came from the woman, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how she thinks.
Yeah.
And therefore that's what we're following.
Yes.
I'm telling you now that it's based on the function and the complements of your gender as a man and woman. So which
is now understood. Yeah.
Okay. Because you're more logical, because you're more analytical, because you're more mechanical, because you're more laborious, you are assumed naturally by women and men and anybody in real society, even if they don't admit it, you're more assumed to work a little harder than her. You're more assumed to accumulate things to the point where you can give more. Because remember, you got to always give, right? But before you give, don't you have to accumulate the money?
Yeah. Before
you guide her, don't you have to accumulate the knowledge?
Yeah.
But here's the difference. She can be beautiful without trying.
That's when it becomes effortless.
But see,
that's when it's complimentary. Once it's effortless, it's not.
She's the effortless. You're the effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I don't have to think about it, then.
She's the receiving. Okay. You're the giving. Okay. She's magnetic. You're electric. If you notice, electricity is what? Shocking.
Yeah.
Magnetism is, come here. We're polite. And notice, by the way, magnets don't work unless they're polarized. Unless you're a south and I'm a north, we won't attract. If we try to push two norths together, they'll always repel. Which, by the way, goes back into the unnatural aspect of homosexuality, which people want to get funny about, but I'm not. This is not that type of video right here. But the point of the matter,
a whole different video.
That is a whole. And I've touched on that a million times. That's why I'm not going to touch it. But unfortunately, when we talk about polarity, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that things in nature don't attract to each other unless they're polarized. Yeah. You see, if you look at a lion has a mane, but the female lion doesn't. The lion has certain attributes that it does as an alpha male lion that the female doesn't. You look at all different forms of animals and all different forms of insects and minerals and all these things. They have complementary aspects to themselves that make them create this type of orbital aspect or this type of reciprocating aspect. Because now, since I just said that word, let's talk about the fact that the female is supposed to be reciprocative. Now notice, reciprocation is based on an after effect. Because in order for me to reciprocate,
you have to give.
I have to receive first.
Whoa.
No, giving is not reciprocation.
You have to be given. So
yes. You give me, you buy me a gift today. I go, oh shit. Oh man, this is real nice. Tomorrow, I'll get you something. That's reciprocation. Yeah. What you did isn't reciprocation. What you did is providing. You gave me something first.
Yeah.
And now we're going back to what? Ladies first. So now we're wrapping up. We're back to the obligation of you providing. You take her on a date. The first few dates you pay for. But after you've already set the tone or set the foundation of showing and proving her that you can provide, the next few dates, maybe she don't mind paying because she's reciprocating that. Or even better, in my perspective as an old man or an older person.
There's certain people is like, it's just like nowadays, it's like you have to come to a certain understanding before you say that, because now it's like, oh, you gotta pay all the time. You gotta pay all the time. No.
Now, then you got to notice the character. First and foremost, let's get this out the way. As men and women, we each have attributes, functions, and obligations that are part of our complements to each other that complement our natures. When a woman's one is reciprocation. As a matter of fact, if you I advise you to study Ma'at and study Jehudi. In the principles of Ma'at is reciprocation. And remember, she's the woman. The woman reciprocates. The man provides. So once you've proven yourself, it's her turn to either reciprocate intimately, reciprocate nurturing-wise, or reciprocate through creativity. She makes a home for you.
Or all of those.
Oh, all of those. Yes, absolutely.
Once you come to that true understanding, though, it's like that's when stuff truly wrecks. If you come to one of those understandings and the rest of them are like, oh, no, we won't do those. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of missing something.
Exactly, and that's the problem. We're not understanding what man and woman is, period. We don't understand what we are by our natures, and we don't understand what we are by our functions. And I was going to say this. This is a huge flag for men. Men, this is a flag for y'all when y'all dealing with women. Anytime as a man, when you provide something or you have proven something to a woman and she continues to choose not to reciprocate that, get away from that woman. Get away from her. If she feels that it's always this, I want more and I want this. Well, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do. If she's one of those,
she's inflating the whole idea that you're supposed to.
She's not a compliment. Yeah. She's what I like to call a black hole. She's taking and taking and taking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a give and take, and the give and take is not supposed to be equal. Meaning, like, if I buy my woman a new pair of shoes, I don't expect her to buy me a new pair of shoes.
That would be.
You know what I'm saying? And not only that,
because if that's the case, I could have just bought myself a pair of shoes.
Not only that, I'm left brain, so I don't even give a fuck about shoes. You see what I'm saying? Unless I need them.
Yeah.
Unless my shoes are fucked up and I need new ones. Yeah. But if I don't need, notice, women can buy shoes without needing them. Okay? They'll have thousands of shoes and not need any of them.
That idea is changing, though.
Well, it's changing because the woman is being masculinized and the man is being feminized. That's why men have more shoes than women today. Because men are becoming more vain. Notice, vanity is a feminine trait. Yeah. Just like spitefulness. Spitefulness is a feminine trait. And what I mean by that is the male is ego-driven. The ego is what drives the will. But here's the problem. As men, we have to stop allowing our ego to dominate our intelligence. See, ego is what makes you drive to have the will to fight harder, to be stronger, and to be competitive. You want to be the best. You want to win. If you notice now, they're destroying that in us. They're giving all the boys trophies at once. They're destroying that, which is destroying the masculine energy, by the way. Woman is based in spite. See, the ego will go, as a man, the ego will go, well, fuck you, bitch. I get mad, bitches. That's the ego. Spiteful will go, oh, fuck you, nigga, you ugly as hell, you this and that. I'm gonna tell all the bitches that you got a little dick and you did this and you did that. That's spite, because now she's doing something through actions based on how you made her feel in order to create a detrimental aspect in your life. Your ego just goes, fuck you, bitch, I get mad bitches, and you walk away. You see what I'm saying? Your ego is driven by how you feel about yourself. Yes, you see what I'm saying? So once we can separate the tendencies, the natures, the abilities, and the functions that are ingrained, that are innate in the feminine and masculine structure, organism, and energy, then we can understand each other and stop believing that we're equal and understand that we complement. So instead of saying, damn, why I gotta pay for everything? You'll be saying, all right, well, I showed and I proved this, I did this. Well, babe, do you know how to cook? Do you know how to do this? Why
now you don't have to do it.
Why you didn't try to do this? But here's the funny part. She turns around and goes, well, I'm a modern, I don't have to do that. Well, wait a second. So that means you owe me for the last 2 dinners and because we equal, right? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But unfortunately, that's not realistic. That's not realistic, right? Because if you notice, no matter what society we're in some way, unfortunately, the only time that doesn't exist is in European society, but we're not going to go into European history. The woman always has a form of a leg up. What's the word I want to use? She has a form of much more, I'm looking for a specific word. I like specific words. Notice, okay, in today's society, right? If I say I was abused or raped as a man,
it's not looked at as like, oh.
It'll never be looked at on any level as it will with a woman. She is always first to receive. She is always first to be understood.
Advantage.
There you go. She's always first in all matters in order to be received and brought into a state of comfort for herself. And then you are the second thought. You're the afterthought. Okay? Now, it sounds fucked up, but guess what? If you're left brain and you're analytical and logical and masculine, you won't give a fuck.
Because the only way for you to live happily is to make her happy.
Now you're getting it, my brother. So now, happy wife, happy life. Now you're eliminating what you started with. Why I gotta pay for everything? Why am I obligated? You just eliminated all of that. The only thing that makes the only thing that makes a difference is reciprocation. Never forget that word, reciprocation. Because yes, it's your job to make her happy.
But does she do it back?
It's your job to make her happy. It's your job to initiate the conversation. It's your job to initiate the date. It's your job to, pay for things the first time or whatever. Yes, you are the initiator. With the definition of to initiate
you can start it, but she's gonna finish it.
Yes. So now, let's wrap this up. There is no equality in all of nature.
No, it just doesn't exist.
There's nothing in existence that can be equal to something outside of itself and not become one with that thing. The reason why 2 objects can exist within
so that they
a realm
come together and become one thing.
Once they become one thing, there's no more duality, and therefore there's no more gender. So now that completely eliminates man and woman now. Now we're talking about an androgynous creature. You see, now we're talking about an asexual organism. You see, which eliminates polarity, eliminates gender, and eliminates duality. You see what I'm saying? And then the next concept to wrap this up is that each gender and polarity comes with a function. If we don't know each other's function, we're never going to last. If we think our functions are equal, then we're always going to be in competition. The reason why, as man, my ego makes me competitive, because when I verse another man, we're supposed to have the same attributes. But why I want to prove that mine are stronger than yours. But if I have a woman that thinks like that, we're battling 24/7.
There's no point in beating that.
I tell, instead of saying, hey, babe, garbage is my responsibility, dishes are your responsibility. When are we ever going to argue about the garbage and dishes?
All the time.
All the time?
Not all the time.
Okay. If we sit there and go, babe, listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not the cleanest person in the world. I don't really like doing dishes. If you're sick of something, I'll do the dishes. I'm not the cleanest person in the world. Blah, 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 blah. And she goes, well, listen, I don't like touching dirty things. I don't like taking out garbage. Blah, blah, blah. And I go, all right, babe, listen, I'll always take out the garbage and you do the dishes. Okay? When are we going to argue about who does the dishes and who takes out the garbage? Never. But if I do this, babe, we're equal. 50-50. You take out the garbage on Tuesday, I take out the garbage on Wednesday. You wash the dishes on Thursday, I wash the dishes on Friday.
When adversity comes into play, I don't want to do it now.
Not only that, who out of the two of us is indecisive? Who out of the two of us never has one mood in one direction forever? The female. So when Wednesday comes, this Wednesday she doesn't feel like doing it.
I don't feel like it.
But here's the funny part about it. As a man, aren't you still kind of obligated to understand that she don't want to do it and you kind of have to accept it?
Yeah.
Do a real man is not gonna make an argument over it. He's like, all right, baby, you go lay down, and I know you don't feel well. It's that time of the month or whatever it might be. I'll do it this time. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that to her, but she can do that to you. If you don't take out the garbage for a day, or whatever reason you didn't, or you didn't feel like it, you're gonna hear about it later.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear about it. You're gonna hear about it in the next argument. You're gonna hear it. She might not say it then, but it's going to be brought up.
Remember that time you didn't
You know what I'm saying? You don't even do your fucking job. I didn't take out the garbage one time. Oh yeah, well, one time. Well, I wash the dishes all the time. You see what I'm saying? So I say that to say this. Once we eliminate this equality nonsense and stick to the functions of our energies, nature, and our anatomy. Your anatomy is built to a certain extent to where you can actually take more stress and more strain on your body than she can. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you probably experienced it living. You have sisters? You have a sister or anything?
I have a sister and I have a mother. So
okay.
I have a mother.
You have times where a woman will be so stressed physically on her body, whether it's working, whether it's in some type of activity where she's dealing with women she don't want to deal with or people she want to deal with, and she'll come home, and unfortunately, you have to feel that. You have to feel that. You see what I'm saying? But here's the difference. Your father can work 80 hours a week, be pissed off, but once he comes home, pops that beer, sits in front of that TV, he doesn't say a word.
It's all gone.
He doesn't say a word. As a matter of fact, the woman might go, well, how's your day, honey? Work is work. Ask a woman how her day was. Oh my God. Angela came in today and she started, because woman is expression. All right? That's a whole, I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole other thing because that goes back into the polarities. Women always need to, that's why they love talking on the phone. That's because they need to, they're absorbers, receivers, but they also need to release. Because a lot of times they absorb and receive things that unfortunately in today's society, remember in today's society, they're demonized for being emotional now because society's trying to make them masculine and make us feminine, but they're demonized for being emotional.
Yeah,
they're demonized.
You open up about your feelings.
Yeah. You're supposed to open up, but every single day on social media, I see women doing this. Strong, need nothing. Get out your feelings, girl. What? The whole nature of your feminine energy is to feel. That's what makes you psychic. That's what makes you intuitive. That's what makes you magnetic.
Coming from a mile away.
You see what I'm saying?
I have to learn that it's coming.
Because you can, yes, and that's labor.
As opposed, like, if I get hit in the head with the hammer, it's like, oh, I don't think I have to go through it again. It's like, but if a woman's like, oh, no, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. You have to walk into a room and analyze the people in the room. She walks into a room and feels the energy. Babe, I don't like it anymore. Can we go? We just got here. You walk in and you be like, all right, oh, pretty decent vibe. Why this nigga look like that in the corner? Hold up. All these niggas is wearing red. Wait a second. Where the fuck we at? You just used a logical, analytical aspect when you walked into the room.
That takes more time.
Mm-hmm. This is now you're going to the aspect where we have to use women, or we have to respect women as our antennas, our spiritual guides. You're her physical protector.
This is getting deep.
You're her physical protector, and you're her physical brawn and tool and instrument. But she's your spiritual antenna and guide because she can feel things you can't. And she's also psychic, by the way. If they weren't trying so hard to destroy the masculine and feminine to such an extent, you would have much more oracles. You know what an oracle is?
Isn't it people who like tell your future and not?
Yeah, to an extent, but they're
tell stories and stuff.
Yes. They're more vocal with what they see. They see things to an extent.
Wasn't Homer an oracle? Wasn't Homer an oracle?
You mean a Greek guy?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He was no damn oracle.
Yeah.
First of all, by the way, since you just brought that up, they don't even have proof that Homer was a man. They don't even have proof. They have nothing but my point is, brother, this is good. It's getting deep, and I don't want to keep you too long. But the point of the matter is, we're complements and we're not equal. And when we think in a complementary aspect of man and woman, we stop thinking of things as an obligation or stop thinking of things as
it just is what it is.
It just is what it is. And not only that, it's much easier to notice the flags, because when you think in a complementary energy aspect, you already know, wait a second, I did this, and this. What did she do? Nothing. That's not a compliment. She didn't reciprocate anything. Now you move on. You get away from her. And you let her know exactly why, too, if she decides to ask or she cares enough to know. And that's another thing as men. We have to stop being scared to put a woman in her place, because that's what we're there for. Our analytical mind and our logical mind is there to say, listen, babe, I'm sorry, but you was wrong that time. And
she might not accept it.
I don't give a fuck if she don't accept it. And that's where the masculine has to step in and be aggressive. And if you notice, they're trying to destroy the aggression that makes the masculine a guide and a protector, because it's your aggression and your testosterone that makes you the best protector. Because you will attack anyone who dares touches your queen. That's where their aggression comes in. You see, you'll do things without even thinking, because it's an action and a function inside of you that wants to make sure she comes first. When we say she comes first, that means her protection comes before yours. So you'll put your body in harm to make sure her body is unharmed. It's the same aspect when we think about adults and children. If I ask anybody, man or woman, yo, there's a baby outside in the street, cars are coming, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to run out there and I'm going to grab that baby. You don't give a fuck if it's your baby. You don't give a fuck if the baby's a boy or a girl. It's a baby, right? And you feel your job as an adult is to do what?
Protect
that baby. Are you going, wait a second, I get hit by a car, should I go get the baby? You're not even thinking about that.
No.
You say, oh shit, there's a baby in the street. And you run and you go get the baby. Now, I'm going to take it even deeper and I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to close it when I say this. If the baby is by far considered more valuable, a higher priority, and more precious in life than any adult.
By far.
By far, right? You agree?
Yeah.
Tell me where all babies come from. Women.
Get out of my face. Get away from me. We're done. We're done. We're done.